So I have not grown up here in North Attleboro, but I've owned my home for 17 years, and I have two children in town, one of whom is a typical student. The other receives special education services. So I definitely bring, as a parent and an advocate in that sense, both sides of that situation. My mother was a lifelong public school educator from college graduation through retirement, and from a very young age she instilled the importance of a public education in each of myself and my sisters. For me, I've wanted to get involved more, but timing is important for me. My kids are older now, they're 13 and 15, so they're a little more self-sufficient, and I feel that I have more time now to dedicate to the job, like to give it what it truly needs, because I'm the type of person that really wants to give everything I do at least 100%. I'm a hard worker and a quick learner, and I feel like the timing now is ideal to get more involved, which is, as I said, what I'm aiming to do, to be a part of making North Attleboro better. We have a gem of a town. We have wonderful kids, great families, fantastic faculty and schools, and I just want to be a part of helping more.
For those who know me, know that supporting kids in North Attleboro is literally at the center of what I do. It kind of drives me, you know, from tackling food insecurity among kids in the town, going back to 2019 when I created the Fuel for the Weekend program, which is now run by the YMCA, to supporting parents, special education parents, as co-chair of CPAC, which is the Special Education Parent Advisory Council, to running my nonprofit, our Open Umbrella. We support kids in a variety of ways, but our main program, Refresh, provides free, gently used clothing to kids in need. So really, you know, every day I'm thinking about ways to improve the lives of students and kids in our community. But you know, being on the school committee has been like a true honor. And you know, I actually don't feel like my time is up yet. You know, if you remember back to 2020 when I got on the school committee, it was COVID. We were at the very beginning of COVID, and they actually moved the election that year from April to June. And so, you know, the first couple of years on the school committee really revolved around opening the schools, reopening the schools, ensuring staff had what they needed in order to teach, and during some really incredibly difficult times, ensuring that kids were still learning under some really terrible circumstances, you know, and ensuring that our buildings were safe. But since then, we've done a lot. We've tackled some major capital improvement projects, from boilers to roofs. We finished the high school stadium. We've done or we're doing a complete review of all of our policies. We adopted a new strategic plan. We, you know, advocate for sustainable budgets. And of course, you know, I have to mention the historic high school vote last year. You know, being a part of that process has been really incredible. And that's just been, you know, that's been a years-long process. And I'm so excited to see the school open in a couple of years, and hopefully it will be a facility that we can utilize for the next 50 years. So, you know, between my community work and my school committee work, really hoping that voters see that I'm in it here in North Attleboro, and that I earn their vote on April 7th.
Well, first I started out with I started off on the PTO. They came out to visit, and they spoke about a few issues. And I had questions on the issues that they were speaking of at the time. And then they asked me at first. They said, hey, why don't you join the committee? And I said, no, you know, that's probably not my thing, and speaking in honesty. And then I started attending the meetings, and then I was there. I started talking to teachers, and I got to know a lot of students at the schools and a lot of parents, and I would hear a lot of parents complain about a lot of things, issues, services for their children. They had questions. They didn't have any direction. They didn't know where to go to get the services. And as I started attending the committee meetings, I started learning about budgets, and then I just started really paying attention. So I started really paying attention to things. And it was similar to some issues we had in Brockton that we were able to fix. I was president of the PTO in Brockton. I was very involved with my daughter's school. And in getting to know some of the committee members and speaking with some of the committee members and some of the issues that were happening. One of them being one time when the principals were there of the schools, and seeing the struggles they were going to, and how they were, in that moment, it seemed like the principals were almost pleading for help. And I threw out a few ideas, and when I threw out the ideas, Peter, the ideas were almost rejected, it felt like. And then I started playing with the idea of running, and I wasn't receiving any responses. Say, hey, I'm thinking of running. I'd like some advice on this. And I wasn't getting any responses. So now I'm thinking and I'm reflecting on the other parents. Imagine being a single parent of a young child that's on the autistic spectrum or on the dyslexic spectrum, such as my son, and not getting answers to things. You have to work. You don't have time to research or look for things. And then you're being looked at as a parent that just complains. And this is something that was literally said to me. You know, parents complain a lot. You have to be careful with what parent you speak to, because the services are out there, and if they really want them, they can look them up and they can find them. Well, for a parent that's had a child who is on the autistic spectrum, this is dyslexic spectrum, who has mental health issues, and who struggled and got him through it. He got his high school diploma. He is now functioning, can work in the union, can make his own money, and be a part of society. I got to tell you, that was hard. That was a just 100% involved job. So in that, and hearing what was said to me, I said, no, something's got to change. Something's got to change. So that kind of sparked the momentum in me. That got me to say, you know what, I'm going to run.